Hi, my name's Sam Skilton. I'm the International Officer for South Asia at the University of Lincoln, which means I look after the students and recruitment from India, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh and Pakistan. The role I do obviously involves quite a lot of travel, and the reason I came to it was really following the travel that I did after graduating from university. So I did about a year's worth of backpacking along with the woman who's now my wife, and the first place we started off was India. And it was the first trip I'd ever done away without my parents, and her first real trip abroad. So it's sort of a big sort of step for us. And also being on a budget was an interesting challenge as well. So arrived at Delhi, New Delhi airport at about sort of 2 in the morning, I think, by the time we got through customs and that. And it being pitch black and me being just about old enough to have been at a time when smartphones and things weren't available, we didn't feel like getting in a tuk-tuk and disappearing into Delhi to try and find the place we'd booked to stay. So we wound up being outside the airport because we couldn't get back in it again, and just sort of sat on a curb for the rest of the night, sort of passing the time with card games until it got light enough for us to figure this was okay for us to go and look for this place. I think we eventually made it to what would be generally called a hotel at about sort of 11 o'clock in the morning, by which point I think we'd been awake for the better part of sort of 36 hours and in the same clothes, in the heat and stress, so weren't exactly in the best of states. And the people who were running were really, really generous and nice to us, considering we hadn't arrived when they were expecting us to arrive, and they hadn't been able to contact us. They immediately just ushered us to the first room they had available, gave us 2 bottles of water each so we could rehydrate a bit, let us just sort of crash out for a couple of hours before they wanted to bother with anything in terms of passports. So once we'd recovered a bit and they'd done all the formalities they needed to do, at that point we asked them about, if there was anywhere good to eat food nearby. And sort of to our surprise, they actually went and showed us to a place they recommended. So they took us out and they sort of walked us through the various back streets and things to a restaurant. It was quite surprising. I was kind of expecting, but at that point, I think I was so tired. I was sort of absolutely exhausted, and it did feel quite emotionally draining at the point, which is, I didn't expect my first sort of meal in India to be Chinese food. But still, it was a really good start to the trip and a really good sort of introduction to India, in sort of terms that on the outset, when you look at it, sometimes it can be sort of a madly confusing and sort of overwhelming kind of place. But underneath all that, it's just sort of full of sort of kind individuals who are willing to sort of go that little bit extra for you that you might not necessarily expect, just to make sure that you're okay, and they seem to have a sort of a sense of caring for you. It was a really good sort of way to start the trip, and something that I've always sort of found whenever I've been out in India or doing my other backpacking things out there, was sort of carried on all the way through. But that one really sticks out as a memory for me, and I'm sort of really happy it happened that way.